Hello.
Doing quite well.
Looks like our fans get to see all of us just sit down automatically.
Hello.
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 Looks.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. This is our first spoopy episode.
It's spoopy season.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
Don't remember the rest of that song.
That means you could just make it up as you go. Oh my god. I thought TikTok was dead.
Do you actually have an account? Here we go.
Well, I know this is a spooky episode, but I do have a reason for that. So, remember Musically?
Yeah.
So they actually got in trouble for that because they were using songs that weren't licensed. So that's how they became like bankrupt. And then TikTok came around. And I believe they most companies realized, hey, this is free marketing. Why not?
Right. And honestly, if you get yourself an account, like I actually made myself an account. I haven't posted anything because I'm very voyeuristic. They so the algorithm kind of like bounces out to your taste and hide them vibes. And so now I've got like so I started out like these stupid like sing along stuff, and then my algorithm bounced out, and now it's a lot of BLM stuff, a lot of cosplay stuff, like all the things that I straight up go for. So yeah, definitely. I think that there's definitely a lot of good content on it. You do have to wade through that. Like I'm doing a dance and I've got millions of followers, which
Softcore porn.
Yeah,
it's very underage
bullshit.
Kids.
Yeah, so
not okay.
So so maybe I am. Yeah, so I am kind of biased in my algorithm though. So it's like a lot of Star Wars shit now. But
is there anything better than Star Wars shit though?
Not really.
Yeah.
Except for maybe spooky.
Segway. We got a segue.
Oh, he's trying to segue One Piece. No, we're segueing into spooky stuff.
And hello to them vibes.
Always happy to have a new stream. Them vibes.
Tell us,
Lay
Brother
down.
Matthew, lay the truth upon me.
Lay down, Big Papa.
Oh,
that Halloween month.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We're in the black void. I mean,
honestly though, I've been to your house. Like that's pretty much how it is 365. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. And I was there at Halloween, so I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Like you guys, like you and your wife are really into like the spooky, scary stuff, and I dig it. It's quite fun to visit you guys.
And also, if you guys didn't know, Matt and his wife actually sleep in coffins. They call them death baskets, and just sleep there all day.
Get up in the morning. He just just rises up like.
But for this episode, we're gonna talk about some spooky ass shit. But we're gonna start off season pretty strong with 3 of our favorite classic and just our general favorite horror movies. So we got one of our first one's our favorite,
Our
second
first one.
one's a classic, and third one is the one you just want to tell everybody about.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. This is my first talk show live. Yeah.
Yeah. All fans are always welcome here, and I'm glad that we're also glad that this is your first one.
Yeah.
If you have any questions for us or what we're going to talk about, throw it down into the chat, and we'll might get to it and answer it for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you got any questions. Yeah, what's up?
Yes, you in the sweater, sir.
Like we just want to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that one? Like.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So who wants to go first? Oh, Matt wants to go.
Matt's got to go first.
Yeah.
You got to go first now.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, everybody, spoiler alert for every movie we're going to talk about here.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna
get into it. But sorry, Matt, continue. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
A lot of movies lately, have, especially horror movies, have been using like records.
Yeah.
Lately, yeah.
There'll be a little reference to that for my choice for the modern one when we get
Yeah,
into it. So,
maybe it's just because like we don't use it anymore, and it's just like a relic of the past.
yeah.
You know?
Plus, you can do a lot with it. You can, it's so first of all, a lot of what horror movies, to create the ambiance, they create it with the sound, and you can do a lot more with a record as far, like you say, either repeating or creating weird random sounds.
And also older songs, like "Tiptoe Through the Tulips." Like older songs are genuinely creepy if you listen to them in the dark.
That's, so you mind if we jump into my selection for the modern one, because that's actually going to be my choice.
Yeah.
All right. So my choice for the modern one is Insidious, directed by James Wan, I believe it was. Yeah. So he creates his own Insidious universe around these movies. So the thing is, "Tiptoe Through the Tulips," like that. It's sung by Tiny Tim. Basically, he recorded it as a novelty song, and he's like the falsetto. That's actually not that old of a song. That was like from the 70s.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's pretty modern. Like,
Yeah.
When I first heard, I was like, yeah, that's like some weird kid from the 1910s, and he recorded that just before he died. I was like, no, he was basically just kind of like a Weird Al looking guy. He's like, all right, I'm gonna play this song for you.
It was like on a phonograph instead of like an actual record.
Yeah. But seriously, that's yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
What?
Bullshit. No way.
Don't even start with me.
Hey Jamie, can you look up how Tiny Tim died singing.
Yeah. He had a heart attack. He was in the hospital.
Blah blah blah. Got history.
Yeah, he had a heart attack during
Oh
Tiptoe Through
my
the Tulips.
God,
What?
that is 100% true. He had.
Well, it's also just a creepy song in general, you know?
Like if you listen to it, if you like listen to it before you watch Insidious, it's probably like meh. But like after having seen Insidious, there's no way I can listen to that song and not be like, there's a demon behind me right now. So yeah, that thing. No,
What was that?
That's a.
We can't hear you, Matt. Matt, we can't hear you. Yeah.
Yep. So for those of you guys who haven't heard this story 50 times already, so this is back when we were living in our hometown. We were like going to college locally. Matt and our friends Ninja and Rias and Tiny. Actually, I think Tiny was gone to another college. Anyway, so I was cruising the internet, like looking like, okay, what's going on? You know, I was like, what's this? Turned out Insidious, James Wan, like they were having a casting call. So they were like, if you submit a video to us, showing like recreating a horror scene or making your own horror scene or, you know, doing a Insidious scene, like whatever it is, you know, whoever wins this video contest will get a part in Insidious 2. And I was like, oh my God, we're trying to do film stuff. We can do this. And like, it was the next day was the deadline though, to get that shit in. So I was like, oh my God. So I called up Matt. I was like, Matt, meet me at your house in an hour. And I call up Ninja. I was like, meet me at that house. And I called up,
Matt, meet me in my house, baby.
Yeah, by the time I got to the third phone call, I was like, no. So
Insidious now.
So I ran to the freaking dollar store, grabbed a bunch of like dollar props. We all met at Matt's house, and we spent like the entire night filming and making this. You know, it was like terrible, but we made this casting call video of like us. You know, I get dragged into the darkness by a demon type thing, and yeah. So the whole thing was like I was doing a reaction video where I was like, Insidious, what is this? Like haunted Justin Bieber, and like there's like spooky stuff going on around me, and I get, you know, demonized. So we submit the thing, and there was like 500 applicants. We got, I think, third, right? We got really high up there. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, we did. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind
It
of
was
got
actually
us started
pretty good.
the whole like filming skits and putting it on YouTube thing.
You guys should put it onto our channel at some point.
I'll have to see if I can find it.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I can find that in Zom Squad. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So let me recap. So Insidious, it is really tropey. It does use a lot of, you know, like the classic horror movie tropes, and I look back on, I'm like, that's not really that scary. But one thing James Wan really did was he created like an eerie atmosphere, and kind of a lot of horror movies. It's like, okay, weird shit happens, and then like that's it. Yeah. So, you know, he actually kind of had a story that went from beginning, middle, and end, but it was creepy, and it left it open ended and a lot of unanswered questions, which is kind of like a big element of horror for me. So I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Them
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's a really big part of horror is like the sound and like the audio.
yeah,
That's a lot of horror movies like really utilize like the jump scare, the loud like music, and I hate that. So any kind of movie that kind of like doesn't do those kind of tropes and just relies on other kind of audio for the scares, I like a lot. You got to work outside of that box.
yeah. Them vibes said we should post the video of our casting call, and I think that we might do that at some point in the future.
Yeah, yeah. We just got to be careful that copyright of the tulips.
Oh yeah. All right. So Jarrett, what's your modern horror pick?
So you've actually seen this with me, Jimmy. So it's The Void. It was a Canadian horror movie made in 2014. It it's like very Cronenberg The Thing-esque. A lot of practical effects,
A lot of body horror.
a ton of body horror. It was just amazing. It was really creepy. Not a lot of jump scares. I got to be honest with you. There's not a lot of like things just popping out of nowhere and loud. It's all about the ambiance and what's going on. There aren't really any like answers. Very H.P. Lovecraft-esque and cosmic horror.
Yeah, it was Lovecraftian without making any Lovecraft references.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I don't believe it is at this point. That's why I hate streaming services. Sometimes you just miss out on the cool stuff.
Well,
but you might be able to find it. The Void.
Yeah. But that's not an easy movie to watch, which might be why it's not on any platforms. But yeah, oh god.
Yeah.
Even just thinking about it makes me a little nauseous. Like
it's intense. So it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
But like horror movies for like me, I don't like slasher movies. I just never I never got into them like Scream, Halloween, Friday the 13th. No.
Yeah,
but the thing is, here's the thing. If you change the 7-foot tall indestructible dude and replace it with like a Bigfoot, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
That's like super weird. Like
exact same plot.
Yeah. Like kids, like sexy teenagers getting stabbed in the woods. Make it a Bigfoot. I'm watching that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So honestly, if you replace Freddy Krueger with it's just a Bigfoot, same exact dialogue, same exact premise, but yeah,
a Bigfoot comes out. This is your god. That's a little out of place there, Bigfoot. I don't know. I think we don't like it because if you make the villain not human, it makes us a little bit more. It gets us a little bit more into it because it takes us more into that fantasy and like kind of takes that separation from reality a little bit further.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
So Cheddar said in the past few years, I feel like all horror is so predictable, all cookie cutter, formulaic BS.
Yeah.
Which is true. So I think the thing with horror, first of all, horror is a very, very niche genre. Like it's like you release a horror movie, you're going to get horror fans pretty reliably, but not a wider release, unless it's around Halloween, in which case you're going to get a lot.
And also, a lot of horror movies don't have a huge budget. They're not going to utilize like a ton of explosions or big effects like Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
They're notorious for having extreme shoestring budgets.
Yeah.
As well. So that's why you're not going to get a lot of.
So pretty much what happened with our casting call, we don't have a lot of money and we only have a few tropes that we can like pretty much crank out in one night. So use that.
Yeah. Yeah.
20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Is that Slappy from Goosebumps?
It does look like Slappy. That's a good. Now that's another. We should just do and then. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and that's what this particular episode's about is kind of getting to like horror movies that probably somebody hasn't seen before and that will will get entertaining. Like I think you might like The Void or obviously Insidious is probably more well known.
Don't start with the void. Like work up to the void.
Yeah, you got to work your way up. Like start with something easy. Like I don't know.
I don't know what's it like Veggie Tales Halloween or some shit.
Oh, this is gonna be a little off topic. Do you guys remember the Dr. Seuss Halloween special with the Grinch?
Yes.
Remember that shit? That
The
was
Grinch,
scary.
The Grinch has a sequel. He reverts back to being an asshole.
Yeah. No, it's Halloween, so it's before he turns into an asshole.
But,
yeah.
But then the dog. Yep. Okay.
Anyway,
Never mind.
I know. So basically, the premise is the Grinch gets like a sour wind coming through, and he has like this box of horrors that he's coming down to the Who village to terrorize him with, and like there's this whole scene of like trippy like cartoons, kind of like the elephant jazz one from Dumbo.
So yeah, it's basically a montage of Seussian horror.
Yeah, and then that was apparently banned by parents because it was that scary.
I mean, it was.
It was terrifying.
So, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're not spying already.
Wouldn't that be like House of a Thousand Corpses, basically?
Yeah, that's just House of a Thousand Corpses.
So, what was it?
Yeah,
there was a all right, little aside here. There was a movie that was a complete knockoff of Death Race, and it had Insane Clown Posse in it. So we're gonna have to see if we can look that up and watch that movie. Okay, so
well, anyway, your next film.
All right, well,
so that's a.
Did Matt give us his? Oh yeah, he gave us his modern one.
Yeah,
okay.
modern one. So we're gonna looking for a classic. Okay, that is a classic.
Okay,
That's before 2000s, like you said. Yeah, that movie is pretty fucked. That's really good. Yeah.
Oh, 11 years old. You're gonna believe anything. Like they put based on a true story in front of that, you'll believe Godzilla. Like, no way.
And they coexisted at the end. Wow. Well, yeah. Where'd you see a Blair Witch Project, and what'd you think of it first? Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's back to our conversation about audio as well. That's a movie with no score whatsoever.
Yeah.
like nothing, and there's like almost no jump scares either. It's just a straightforward movie on a literally almost non-existent budget.
Yeah. So they interviewed I think they just recently interviewed the woman who played like the girl in that movie, and that was like her first acting role. And she was like, I was talking to like my family about it, and they're like, are you sure like this isn't someone who's like trying to murder you? Because like she's just going to like she was just basically going to like this random, place in the middle of nowhere to meet these people who are like working on a movie that she never heard of before, and it turned out to be a massive success. But like that's how low that budget was. Like they had no idea who those people were.
Exactly, and then that's like it blew up.
It was
Really,
like a college, like a thesis movie. Yeah,
they did a good job.
A+. So yeah,
Well, that's the thing about horror. It can like, since you have such a small budget, you can make like a classic instantaneously, but you have to be like really creative about that.
yeah.
And just a couple of like 3 students in the woods can make a genuinely horrifying movie with nothing. There was no special effects. There's no blood. There's no gore. And there's nothing.
So there's a difference. So I'd like to make a grammatical distinction here.
Yeah.
So there's horror. There's horror. So basically, actually, horror is basically the feeling that you get when you see something horrible. Like if I saw Alien right now, I'd be horrified, right? Terror is
I'd be turned on.
You've been on the wrong websites. I gotta put
the
child
internet
lock.
has destroyed my mind.
You gotta put child lock back on your web browser. Like Jesus. So versus terror, which is like the anticipation of something.
Yeah.
So like if we knew the alien was in the house right now, but we have no idea where it is, which is how that movie works. So like with Blair Witch, like you don't know what's going on, but it's creating terror, and that usually is the better horror movies versus the ones that are like, here's something terrible for you guys.
And then Vibe says he's got a dip, but have a good night, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
See you next time.
Yeah. Feel free to join back or watch us later, bro.
Yeah.
So, bro or sis, I don't know who any of these people are actually. So, that's and Blair Witch actually also started the whole like found footage genre.
Right,
Like, I don't want to say it's the first one, but it's definitely like the first most popular one.
Atmosphere, yeah. Cheddar has a good point. Atmosphere, you can't. I mean, we've seen it all before. The haunted house, or the suburbs, or something like that. But like, just 3 kids walking in the woods. We've all been there, but they actually get lost. That's kind of a good point of like what Jimmy was saying, the terror, because we've been there. We and if you've never been lost in the woods before, it's a scary feeling. Turning around and being like, where am I?
Sure. So a little bit like your Blair Witch description reminded me of this one time in Boy Scouts. I swear to God, this is a G Witch story. So, so we're in Boy Scouts, and this is an awesome troop. We're like freaking all Bear Grylls and making fire from whatever we can. It's one of those awesome troops. But we're always playing pranks on each other. So we're all like gearing up and getting in a tent. And this was a survival camp out, so we're like actually making lean-tos and shit. So one of the guys is like, hey, look at this on my phone, and he starts playing this ringtone he got, and it's like this echoey like little girl's voice, and she's like, daddy.
Oh no.
And like I know that we prank each other constantly in this troop. But I'm like, I swear to God, man, if you play that while I'm sleeping, it's good. Like I'm serious. Do not do that. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have a reaction. And he's like, no, I swear I won't do it. Yeah. So, but I always like, but when I went to sleep at night, like that was in my head. I was like, nope.
Yeah, it's
So
no, yeah. There's a lot of good horror movies that can happen in the woods. Some of the, so even some of the best horror movies are not even rated R. Like Jaws is not really a horror movie.
Yeah,
it's just like kind of like an action adventure.
Yeah. All right. So do I get to say
yeah,
my classic?
you get to. Yeah, we finally get to move on from being lost in the woods. not a. Oh my god,
Matt. And it's
okay. You look pretty. That's what you're here for. You're here to look pretty.
Okay, so where? All right, I'm gonna go with my classic. Gonna go with the OG classic because I'm basic as hell, and go with 1931's Frankenstein with Boris Karloff.
All right.
What was that sound? Was that your impersonation of Frankenstein?
Well, I got to be honest with you. It's more of a tragedy rather than a straight horror.
So, welcome to my film school TED Talk.
Oh no! Looks like somebody took one class of theology, and now here we go.
I'm actually taking a composition course, and like our main book that we're reading is Frankenstein, like the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So,
yeah.
So like, I actually want some help with this because I've been looking at that and I've watched the old Frankenstein and it's good, but like, does it it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, it's good. Like for the time, it's really good, but does it hold up? Like, am I just looking at it through nostalgia glasses, or does it hold up?
Well, it probably holds up more now just because of all the it's humans' limit on science and attempting to become God and what life actually means. Does it begin at does the things that we create have a soul? Wow, I'm getting too into this. Okay. This is a horror movie, not about tiptoeing through the tulips with Frankenstein.
So, okay, so a couple of fun points. So, these directors in 30s were like from Europe. I forget exactly who it was that directed Frankenstein, but I'm pretty sure that he came over from Germany in the 20s. And the Wolfman was with Lon Chaney Jr. more was specifically a Greek tragedy framework. And if you read the original Frankenstein, that's a tragedy. So the main difference I'm seeing is okay, so you read the original Frankenstein, and that monster is super smart. Like he talks and he's really eloquent and stuff. And I'm like, wow, this guy's way smarter than me. Why am I reading this? I'm not smart enough to read this book. So, but then you watch 1931's Frankenstein, and he doesn't have any speaking lines.
Well, I always took that as because he was just born. Right. He's a baby, but he's 7 foot tall. It could crush your windpipe like it was made out of a straw.
So does he have super strength?
No, he's just an abnormally large person. I think
in the movie they don't make it's. So first of all, it's hard to make special super strength special effects in 1930s movies, but they don't really show any feats of him being super strong. He lifts up a man basically, but that's about it.
Well, yeah, but also
they don't really mention it.
Yeah, he's not super strong. I just took it as he's just he's obviously a bigger dude.
Yeah,
and he was composited of probably the best organs as well that you could find. So I guess he's a bit stronger, but but I always took that as he was just dangerous because he had no inhibitions. He was basically a child in a man's body.
Yeah. So the tragedy of so we'll compare and contrast here because we're in my English, my composition class now.
We're in Jimmy's time.
So in the book, he the tragedy of first of all, it's the creature. It's not Frankenstein. So the tragedy of the creature is that he is so intelligent and so aware of his nature, versus in the movie is that his tragedy is that he's so unaware of he just is, but he is unable to grasp his situation.
Well, isn't that the point of man? Is that what we got kicked out of the Garden of Eden because we became aware?
Okay, we're getting way too into the theology.
Oh. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! You stop it with that.
But yes, so Cheddar makes the point. Entertainment values absolutely holds up as far as he's concerned, not being scary so much, which is kind of. So first, if you if I saw a 7 foot tall Frankenstein, like Boris Karloff looking guy in the room right now, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Definitely not as like intense computer effects, but it's like if you watch it, that movie is definitely very eerie.
Yeah.
Like when you're in like when they're in
when the Frankenstein's monster's in his like cell and he's like reaching for like imaginary butterflies, that is creepy.
Yeah. And like all the shots in the castle they use a lot of like surrealist images, so like all the shadows are like wonky and like weird angles. It's like this, like, you know, it's just very off-putting. So I think definitely not as much shock value, but definitely still holds up as far as eerie value.
Yeah.
And
then of course when that girl drowns and his father's like carrying her through like Town Square and they're celebrating.
Oh yeah.
That's like the movie is, like Cheddar said, it is absolutely entertaining. It's a marvelous movie. It's amazing. It's just not scary, but probably at the time it was probably
at the time, like people like when like in the scene where they reveal Frank the creature and he like slowly turns around and they do the cut to the like zoom. Mm-hmm. Like people had to like had to leave the theater. They were freaked the hell out by that scene.
Yeah. Of course, people were easier to scare back then.
I think that's a I think that's a bit of a misrepresentation, because people have always been pretty smart and pretty with it. Like, but
the first time you see a moving monster,
true. But I think they might have understood. You know, first of all, maybe they haven't been as exposed to as much imagery as we have. That's definitely part of it. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
They haven't been exposed to it as much. One Piece.
Yeah. All of Matt's nerve endings have been burned out by One Piece.
It's actually on his heart. It's beginning to congeal into like Luffy's face.
I'm hungry. I stretch. I'm hungry.
I got rubber powers. Nothing can hurt me unless the plot asks for it.
I guess. All right, Joe, your classic movie.
My classic movie is The Haunting, the 1963 version, not the early 2000s version. So that is like obviously, like, you know, I've been scared before, jump scares and things like that. But there's one scene in it. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys. You really have to watch it, where I physically went like this. Fuck! Out of, like, I was like, shit! No! Fuck! Yeah, I did that. Because I was like...
Your Tiger Claw Kung Fu Picnic.
Tiger style! You deserved it. You got to... This is my kill area, girl. You can't get in that. Matt's gonna watch it. So come, cannon. But that movie, it doesn't have a lot. It doesn't like do a lot of like jump. It does do jump scares and things like that, but it's all eeriness. It's all audio. It's all sound design. That's the main scares, because it's a ghost story. The Haunting. Obviously, it's a ghost story, but it's you don't see anything. You don't see any ghosts.
Okay, so it's like all implied, basically.
It's all implied, but it's not like, ooh, were there ghosts or weren't there? There are definitely ghosts, you know that, but it's just so scary because it's all sound design. I at least suggest to watch. Do it, but if you want to do it by yourself, you're gonna need to vamp up that, because that's a movie you really want to watch with people because it's really scary.
True. All right, I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna have to watch that with people.
You have to watch it with your fiance. She hates horror movies, and I'm pretty sure
the scariest movie I was able to talk her into was Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein.
And then you had to be out of her kill radius.
Yeah, she doesn't flail so much. She just like. We got a question from Cheddar. In your opinion, what's the most iconic horror film of all time, excluding the top three: Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman? His vote is The Exorcist.
Okay, so I have actually my next movie is actually going to be. Do you guys want to do your third movie and then your all-time iconic?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna do. I actually got to think about it, so I'm going to be thinking about it while we're
Bro,
talking. So
I got one. And he did say The Exorcist. Unfortunately, I've never seen The Exorcist.
me neither.
Yeah, it is. I hear it's good. Yeah.
That's one. Yeah, that's one of those movies where it's like Star Wars, where like I've never seen it, but I've always known what the plot is because
Yeah.
it's like so famous.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
I say like what you think is exemplifies the genre of horror and is the best horror movie in general.
So like when you say horror movie, what pops into your mind first?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, like what's the first thing that comes into your mind? You're like,
Well,
this
Frankenstein, but
is the
he
movie.
knocked that one out. So okay. All right, Matt, why don't you go first with that one then?
Yeah. So we're doing our most iconic movie first. Okay.
Lady Girl. Lady Girl.
Lady Lady Girl one.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Me next. Me next. Me next. Me next. All right.
Okay, Jimmy, you could go next.
All right. Okay. So for iconic horror movie, my vote is going to be Night of the Living Dead, the Romero one.
Oh,
Yeah. So reason I chose that is like first of all
yeah.
that so first of all that basically created an entire subgenre of horror, the zombie movie, which eventually became a zombie craze in the 2000s, and we could not shake that shit.
Shake that.
So yeah, so before that, you horror buffs will know all about this. Before that, zombie movies were like voodoo zombies. So they were like basically a hypnotized person who like had a person controlling them. And there's like movies like White Zombie with Bela Lugosi to watch like that. And then he not only took zombies in a different direction, but also horror because like he showed like zombies eating people and stuff. And like it was pretty. pretty shocking for back then.
It was also one of the first movies to have a black protagonist.
Oh yeah, that's true. So yeah, he broke a lot of
barriers.
Yeah, he broke a lot of barriers on that. And honestly, I don't think horror movies have been the same afterwards. There are
that's
other.
good.
I mean, like if you honestly, when I say horror movies, that's not the first one that came to mind. But I'm thinking about it. That's really kind of the one that really helped take it in an entirely new direction. And like everyone knows that movie, and everyone references that movie.
Yeah.
So that's my choice.
It's a really good choice. I love horror zombie movies. Again, that's really weird that James and I don't like slasher movies. Watching people get cut up by a serial killer, but if it's a bunch of zombies doing it, I'm gonna watch that all day.
The thing, I don't know. Yeah. So, I don't haven't quite pinpoint why I don't like slasher movies. Like just the mechanism of like just killing people randomly for some reason doesn't hit well with me. But all right, okay.
I think we hit a nerve. Stop thinking, Jay. We hit a nerve.
So, tell me, Matt, does this hurt? Slasher movies aren't that good.
My childhood. Okay, you were with Psycho, sir. Trying to pull the wool over our eyes. And the point of the slasher movie was to bring the horror from the backwoods, like horror movies usually are, on the fringes of society, and bring them to an urban environment, thus amplifying the horror element.
I'm not following either of you.
I will leap through this camera and
Jason X killing in space. Oh, that's right. That movie was solid platinum.
Cheddar, dude, let's not forget the Leprechaun goes to space either.
Wait, did he actually go to space?
He went to space. Everybody was going to space. What the hell, dude? So did Bill and Ted.
Wait, isn't that just the Terminator?
Wait, no, Terminator was. Hold up.
All right,
Hold up.
This is not back straight off the dome. Here we go.
You, sir, have vanquished the name of Slasher for the last time.
No.
I haven't seen any of them.
Okay, fine. Jeez. All right. Well, we'll keep that in mind. Jared, what's your pick for
Go fuck yourself, Matt. You suck. You suck at this. Anyway. No, don't bring that poor girl in here. No.
You know that we can't argue with her logic.
Okay, while we're waiting on Crystal, Cheddar, what do you think? What do you think is better? Do you think you agree with us that slasher movies are kind of not the best in the world? Maybe doesn't jive well with your taste. And do you prefer your killers to be Sasquatches or other beings?
By the way, we want to say that if you like slasher movies better, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Except if you're Matt and wrong.
We're just offering alternative viewpoints as far as deconstructing these plots. Right? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, okay.
I'm a huge fan of both. Slashers don't scare me.
Aha! So...
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Once that's all right. I'll give you that. we're like, by the time we were born, all these movies had been franchised into like
and troped
to death. So we're
Yeah.
kind of, but like, yeah, if you go back and watch the first ones, like as like, and take them as they are, they're actually really good. Yeah, for sure.
I just it's for me, my villains have to be be able to be injured. The thing about like Jason and Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger is that they're basically invincible. They come back time after time after time. Whereas something like, this isn't my pick or anything, but like the first Predator movie, this is this indestructible, awesome creature. But the thing is, there's a very clear scene where he's wounded and he has to apply first aid to himself.
That's the second one.
That's the first one, and the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's showing that your villain is just as vulnerable as your protagonists. That amplifies that scare, because if there's stuff on the line, your heroes can still win.
That's okay. Yeah, that's true. That you invest more in not only the villains but the entire story.
Yeah.
If there's some give and take, that's all right.
But
that's a good qualifier. Yeah.
My top pick for the most iconic horror movie has got to be Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alien. So first and foremost, a lot of people, even at the reviews at the time, said it was basically a horror, a haunted house in space.
Yeah.
Or a slasher movie. But I could go on to.
What's Cheddar saying?
Cheddar says, I think the idea of Jason, etc., is supposed to push the helplessness, which is scary in some movies. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. There is. Yeah, you got a point. There is something especially scary about like death.
Hold up.
Headphones off, so you can't even say anything.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
We got him on the ropes.
Oh! The greatest betrayal since Brutus. Eat you, Brute. Yo! Oh! Oh my God!
Yeah, Mikey came in to set up a wombo combo.
Today on the podcast, Matt eats humble pie with the side of go fuck himself. Yes. Anyway, so I could do
Matt. We've already established there's nothing wrong with enjoying. There's nothing wrong with that.
Unless it's you.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so
yeah, if fans out there, you can like whatever you like. That's okay. Unless you're Matt, then you suck. It's wrong. What you do is wrong.
Matt.
I don't know.
Matt, we entirely get it. We have not seen all the slasher movies, so we actually don't have as much information as you do to weigh in. So, but
anyway, back to me. This is about Jarrett.
This is about Jarrett.
It's about Jarrett
and Alien.
So, I could have a whole TED talk off of Alien and its imagery, but that's not what we're here about, Jimmy.
Whatever,
Jimmy. This is not what we're here about.
I'm just gonna turn in my thesis and get the A+, whatever.
But the whole movie is perfect, and Geiger's what's his full name? Ewan Geiger.
Is that the artist?
The artist. So the artist that made Alien, like designed the ship, or helped design the ship, the alien ship, the alien itself. I think is R.S. Geiger. Yeah, he was a surrealist artist and everything like that. It was, but the whole, I can't even put it into words. If you haven't seen Alien, I highly suggest it. Its sequel.
H.G. Geiger. H.R. Geiger.
H.R. Geiger. H.R. Geiger. Yes. The whole film is perfect. It's one of those few perfect movies that is just flows well. All the characters you're super invested in. Everything's human, and the thing is about the alien, it's literally just an animal, going throughout its day, basically.
So Cheddar says, to be fair, the alien has that whole unstoppable killer vibe for most of them, at least first of them. So you got a point there. So there is definitely, like I was saying before, we got into the ultimate betrayal there. So Matt does have a point with slasher movies that there is something especially scary about like the inevitableness of their methodology. There's no there's no way you can stop Jason. There's no way you can stop Freddy. Like it's just they're coming for you and you can't do anything about it.
I do have to disagree with Cheddar. I love you, but no. So the thing is about the Alien is that it was it can be stopped. All it would take was a couple of bursts of that flamethrower, and it was Dunzo beans. But the thing is, it was so suited to its hunting through a ship, it was able to ambush and surprise.
So like
yeah.
Oh, not you mention it. So like so remember in the last scene, hashtag spoiler alert, where she's on the ship and it's like tucked into all the. So it's like the alien, like its physiology looks very
tubular and mechanical.
Technical.
That's actually what H.R. Geiger was going for. Something that was created. It looked like Frankenstein. So that's why it was unstoppable. Just because they couldn't. It was so suited to its new habitat, which is that ship.
Yeah.
But all it took was a couple flamethrowers, and then like the second movie, it took a couple bullets, and it done. Yeah. It's Dunzo beans. But it's such a perfect predator, it can't, because even if you make it bleed, it's going to destroy your ship.
Yeah, and it basically it blends in so well to the ship that it basically it's like say it's more of the environment that you're scared. So he like the captain is like going through the tunnels, like any part of that ship could, and like you see that in the second movie where they basically blend into the hive.
Yeah.
So it's like, where's the alien? It could be on the ceiling. It could be anywhere. It is the environment.
Again, I could go on a whole TED talk about Alien.
Yeah, Cheddar is props to Ripley. So yeah, Ripley, for sure.
That is one of the better main characters ever written.
Yeah,
the simple fact that she has a cat. I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah. So
probably one of the oldest cats in existence in her timeline.
Right, and like it's interesting to see her character as she starts off as a background character basically.
Yeah,
and
you just assume it's going to be the captain's.
Yeah, as everyone dies and everything breaks down until it's literally just her and everything around her, including her ship, is destroyed. She is the one that is coming up, and she is the one that is like getting through this madness. Yeah. So very, very, very cool.
Yeah, I could go off all day about Alien and the imagery and everything like that.
But unlike me, you're gonna cut yourself. You're gonna
because I know nobody wants to hear me talk about Alien.
Okay,
for hours. Oh yeah. And they didn't have to go so hard, and they did. They put everything out on that movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about I was gonna say 1970s movies. But it goes. This kind of ties into the horror theme as well. So like 1970s, that's when they were like, I think, really starting to make a lot of strides and get very creative with the movie effects. And so there was a lot of creativity that went into that, and a lot of but it was still like not as advanced enough that it had to be like, it was still very human in process. Yeah. And you kind of see that with horror as well. You get a lot of really generic, cheap crap, but it does lend itself more to being very creative and processing a lot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then it's like the 80s, and the 80s just knocked it out of the park with the remakes, though.
Well, yeah, so
yeah, was there the crack cocaine epidemic, the Cold War?
Yeah, I mean, like every once in a while, I do get very mad that I wasn't like a teenager in the '80s to enjoy all the freaking synth rock shit. But
yeah, we can all like wear like suits with like really long like shoulder pads. Hey, skibbity bop, what's the his caps? We gonna go and we're gonna break dance down at the park. You want to come, Matthew?
I would be a Talking Heads fan. That would be my deal.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd probably get beat up by everybody.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be like Ralph Macchio before he learns karate, but then I just never learned karate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that would be my arc.
But also for our last movie, your favorite horror remake.
Favorite horror remake.
Oh yeah, favorite horror remake. It's been done before. Talk about the original one, what was good about it, and what needed to be improved, and what the remake did better.
I don't even know. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Bad movies are also as good as good movies.
Oh yeah.
Like I enjoyed The Room better than I did Jurassic World.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I was. It's a national treasure, but you can't continue.
We'll allow this line of thought.
Your Honor. May, may the prosecution continue. This is, even though Mark Hamill is a national treasure, we must establish what the movie was like for us pedestrians.
I'll allow this line of argument to continue, but you watch yourself, Matthew.
You make it, sir. What was your experience like during this child's play? Replay, if I may say. Oh my god, I should have been a something lawyer. No, it has to be like antebellum like accent.
You know, like we got a Savannah, Georgia accent going. You got more like a Panhandle accent going.
You gotta like. I know you gotta do like a foghead leghorn, like child. I say, child's play. Oh, why does that sound so good?
Just, no, just. All right, stick with the northeastern accent. Let's just go with the.
Yeah, we've been. This segue has been terrible.
I did not enjoy any moments of it.
Yes, I'm sorry I brought this up.
Now you sound like Tiger.
Oh, that's a good horror movie. Anyway, child's coming. Really? That's it? Uh, oh. Yeah, a doll thing. A doll that kills people, number one. Please, watch this movie. We need the budget. We need to verify this budget. He's picked up the microphone. He's that pissed.
I was saying I was gonna say if they offered me the job, I'd remake that movie.
He's picked up the microphone a third time, thrice now.
Thrice he has picked up the microphone, displaying his anger, and spilled his Red Bull.
On the notes, mind you, dear viewer, the Red Bull has been spilled, much like the blood in Child's Play.
All right. Anything else that you wanna talk about Child's Play? No, you're good. Got all your system, all out of your system.
Okay, buddy.
Basically,
You want to talk about it more?
Basically, they neutered the movie of any personality, and we're just riding on Mark Hamill's good name to bring it home.
Of course, it's Mark Hamill. I'd watch it anyway. Yeah, you know what? Mark Hamill. They should be putting Mark Hamill in like good movies and give him better roles because I'm tired of just seeing him relegated to like the sidelines. He has the acting chops, he has the voice, he has the talent. Give this man what he needs to shine.
I mean, he was in freaking Dark Crystal, and he shined in that. So he's got a very successful voice acting role.
Yeah, but in Dark Crystal, everybody shines in that. It's true. Yeah,
it's true. All right, my turn. Remake, right?
Yes. Now that he set the precedent, one of the worst, whatever you would like.
All right, I'd like to use my remake subject to send a question out to the airwaves. Is the remake of 13 Ghosts really that good?
No,
like
it's not.
He loves 1982 version as far as remakes. So he's probably talking about Child's Play. I'm talking about 13 Ghosts. So I saw the original 13 Ghosts from like the 60s.
Yeah, that was.
So this is kind of funny. So this is when. So the guy who made this movie and like the studio who made this movie, they were all into like the gimmick movies. So they were doing like the 3D movies back in the day, and like there was like a scene in this movie where like a skeleton's floating around. So they'd have like a glow in the dark skeleton like flying around the theater, and like that was they had like, and the movie was like the people in the movie had these goggles they would put on to see ghosts, and like every time you put on the goggles, they were supposed to put on the 3D glasses and the ghosts would appear.
I mean, it was also really interesting as well because they market it as like it's a horror movie. If you don't want the horror part, you don't have to wear the glasses, and then you don't see the ghosts.
That's true. That's
true.
So
it's like they were like, it is kind of sexist, but they were marketing as like if you're a woman and you can't handle it, you can take off the glasses and you won't see anything.
Those ass wagons.
Yeah.
So also the thing. Okay. All right. Yes.
Yep.
But what I'm talking about.
Or like the Thing.
So like in.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I tried it. I went for it. I didn't get it.
No, you didn't get it. You fell very flat on that.
I realize how I affected my audience, and people look up to me, and I'm sorry. I've been going through a rough patch in my life.
You will be taking a leave of absence while you work on
my catchphrases. I'm sorry for the people I've harmed. It wasn't me. It was whoever it was. He's dead now. I'm a new person. I found Jesus. So I've been reborn. This bit is going on too long. I know this.
Back to my point. Back to my point. Okay, so 13 Ghosts was a if anything, it was a highly entertaining 60s movie. It's full of gimmicks. Remade in like the early 2000s. And like the early 2000s was a freaking desolate wasteland for movies in general
and culture.
But like, scrolling through the internet, I keep coming back to this. Like people keep referencing this movie as though it's like a cult. I think it's a cult classic. Honestly, is it like? So I'm asking people on the internet, comment on this video.
Yeah.
Is it really that good? Should I be watching this?
Yeah. So actually, your answer has half been answered by Jarrett. lest we forget.
In your 13-minute aside there?
No, no. I should have actually answered it in my 13-minute aside, and then you guys have to go, like, scroll through all that nonsense and go insane trying to find the answer.
Oh God.
I have. It's one of those movies where it's like it's entertaining. It's just not that great.
Okay.
It is like they base. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's just basically like instead of like the house, like in the original 13 Ghosts, that's where people died. Like that's where they like all these different people died in the house. But in the remake, like the main protagonist or antagonist captured them.
Okay.
And brought like a real life Ghostbuster.
Okay.
And like they're trapped in the house. It is interesting because like it's a maze house.
Yeah.
And the ghosts are like wandering around it, and like all the walls are like see through as well. So it's a really really interesting, cool concept, and the sets are awesome. It's just it wasn't the best.
Okay.
That's all.
Just was okay.
Yeah.
So the writing wasn't that good.
Yeah. Prison for Ghosts.
Okay. All right, so maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it's like a prison for ghosts. Just a terrible concept.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Shot.
What's wrong with you, man?
Why do you have 2 copies?
Yeah, why? Not picking up your microphone. Now you're making me mad.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, Jared, is your next one. So,
My next one.
yeah, it's the remake.
So frickin' Cheddar beat me to the punch, and it's got to be The Thing. 100%. So the original Thing from the 50s, it was based on very, very loosely. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Cheddar. Glue your fucking mic down. So nail it down. So do not cut me off.
Why?
I will.
Why not?
Be cut. Yeah.
Keep yapping, man.
You mouth is doing this. This is what I want you to do. Did you just tell me to shut up? Yes. So the original The Thing was very loosely based on the short story Who Goes There.
Okay.
Loosely as in it kind of takes place in Antarctica, and that's it.
So this was like from late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
It was called The Thing from Outer Space.
It's called The Thing from Outer Space, but the original story was more closely related to the actual 1980s version, where there's an alien frozen in the ice. They thaw it out, which is a beat from the 50s as well that they all share. And the Thing can change into other people. Basically, it's a very interesting story. The writer, I forget his name, unfortunately, takes a lot of time to like describe the main character as bronze and very sexy, which is really weird for the 30s. But the put your mic down. Put it down.
You never seen The Thing any of them? Okay. All right, maybe don't spoil it. No spoilers this one.
Here's a spoiler for you, Matt. Put your mic down and then watch it. So what's really interesting about The Thing is that it was so there was the 1950s version, which was based on the book, which didn't do a very good job. Then they remade it in the 1980s, which was a awesome body horror movie. It's the best.
Yeah, that's where we get like the whole Cronenberg
And Cronenberg. Yeah. And then it's kind of like the Alien as well. Like all the characters you really care about, you like them a lot. And McCready, is a really good character. He doesn't do not a lot of character development, but whatever. But
he's an alcoholic pilot. Not a great combination.
No. And then I won't spoil it for you. Watch the movie. It's really good. But then they remade it in 2012.
Well, that was a prequel.
Yeah, that was a prequel, but prequels are just remakes.
True.
And that was really bad. you know. So it was made based off a book, remade, and then remade as a prequel. Only one of them is really good.
Yeah, I actually really like when I was a kid, the '50s one scared the as an adult. Like the thing in that one is he basically looks like a Frankenstein wearing a Star Trek uniform.
Yeah, and it's basically a vegetable as well.
Yeah, but but that was another one's like you just like you so you know how in Jaws like you get the da dum da like and you know the shark's coming.
Yeah.
And in Jurassic Park you see like the little and you know the dinosaur is coming, and like that in and of itself is almost more terrifying than the creature itself, right?
Yeah.
And the thing from outer space from the '50s, like they had Geiger count, like they could like register on a Geiger counter. So like every time it was coming closer, like the Geiger counters were amped up, and like that was more scary than the actual thing itself.
Yeah, and it was like it as far as entertainment is concerned, the original is a very entertaining movie, and I actually do kind of like the remake as the 2012 version as well. That was actually kind of good. It's just the 1980s version was so good. It was so creepy. It was just awesome.
Fun fact. Oh, this is interesting. Cheddar said so. There's a I don't think I can get. I think I can say this without spoiling too much.
Yeah.
So there's a part in the beginning of the movie where like these Norwegians are like trying to warn this team, like don't do it, like this happened, like they tell them what's going on, and Cheddar just said that basically it spoiled it for Norwegian speaking audiences because they told them the entire thing before they'd see.
The dog is the thing. The thing is the. I don't see why you like this movie. They just tell you what happens. You idiots. And then you have to make sure you're outside of the kill zone, because that's you spoil a movie, you got to be outside of that kill zone.
True. Yeah. So okay, I think we're getting near the end here. I think we're gonna start wrapping things up. I'd like to share one more movie experience though.
Put your mic down. Put your hands in your pockets and keep them to yourself.
Just stick them right here, man.
Put them right in your armpits.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt, you're gonna like this. So last night, our local drive-in is still actually open, just because of the pandemic. That's the only way you can see movies safely.
It's pronounced the plague.
The plague. The plague. So we went to the drive-in and we saw Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, and for the first time ever for both of us, we saw Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm so angry that all these songs are so goddamn catchy, and they're gonna live rent free in my brain for the rest of my life.
But isn't it such a weird movie though?
It is. It's incredibly weird. So basically, this guy basically wrote the movie. He's like, I'd like to write a story that is basically glam rock meets, B horror movie meets rock and roll 50s rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And he during a winter he wrote it to amuse himself, and then they ended up working on it, and it became Rocky Horror Picture. So this is fun though. So my fiance and I were like, hey, yeah, we're going to the drive-in. We're going to see Rocky Horror Picture Show. And my parents are like, oh, are you going to throw toast? We're like, what? They're like, yeah. So I look it up. And it turns out that Rocky Horror Picture Show is an audience participation event. So people bring toast and noisemakers and rubber gloves. And at different points, you do different things. You throw rice during the wedding scene. Whenever Tim Curry snaps his gloves, you snap your glove. You're supposed to throw toast at certain points. You throw popcorn at certain points, and
Jesus, how big throats.
Yeah, so we didn't get any of that, but now I really do kind of want to see. I want to go to an event of Rocky Horror Picture Show at a theater.
We should make it. We should go to one, but but the thing is, we sit there and we have jam and butter, catching toast. Yeah.
I'd have to do this myself.
During the wedding scene, you got a rice cooker. Hey, right here. Come on.
So All right, we'll think about that. But I
Yeah.
have to say, so for it's definitely very weird and very
Yeah.
interesting. But I would it's one of those like you gotta like highly recommended movies. And honestly, the soundtrack slaps so hard.
I've never seen it, and what is it? The Time Warp that is stuck in my head right now.
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's actually oh okay, Matt's got it.
Put your mic down. Don't touch your mic. Hands free. You know it doesn't bother me, but I just like yelling at you
Our lives are not affected by that at all, but we enjoy
whatsoever. I don't think anybody cares. I think a billion people could watch this video and nobody would care that you're touching your mic except me.
All right, so
Breaking news: asshole Mike for no reason.
and he likes One Piece. Like that's the only
That's
reasons
it.
we make fun of Matt. So, all right, so I think we've reached the end of our
Yeah.
stream. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any suggestions for new horror movies, you have any opinions about the movies we've said, or any opinions about the movies you like, please leave in the comments below. We can't wait to see them.
Or comment it on one of our on our Twitter page or on our Instagram page as well. And check out of course our streamer DK Express on Twitch.
Express.
Express. Choo choo. Yeah. Yeah, he's getting really good. Yeah. If somebody could make it a trending hashtag, Matt, put down your fucking microphone. please, please put it forward. Start doing that. I just want to become famous to make Matt feel bad about himself.
And thank you so much to them Vibes and Cheddar for pitching in and
Yeah.
chiming in on our conversation. Can't wait to always love to hear from you guys. All right, so this has been Jimmy.
And Jarrett. Put down your mic. Don't touch your mic. That's not your sign off. That's not your sign off, okay?
It's all right. It's all right. We're going to delete all that. Right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to because he touched